Since having graduated from college, I have found myself with a lot more autonomy in my life. Having more autonomy means that I have been given a lot more choices, a lot less responsibilities at this time, and I feel like it is up to me to decide whatever I would like to do in my life. With so much freedom and so much liberty, you would think that I would find myself feeling pretty content and pretty happy, pretty relieved to have had this lack of structure given to my life. But because I don't exactly have a rubric anymore like I used to in college, now I kind of feel like my whole life is now resting on my shoulders. Not to say that it wasn't before, but now at this time, I literally feel as though it is my choice as to whether or not I want to go back to school, whether or not I want to find myself at a certain job, whether or not I want to find myself moving to a certain place, and all of this happening post-college graduation. With me feeling like I now have so many choices to make in my life, all at the span of maybe a couple months, give or take, I feel a little bit lost. But feeling lost isn't something that is foreign to me. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty confident that every single one of y'all have also felt lost at some point. Perhaps even you right now feel kind of lost as well, actually. But feeling lost doesn't mean that there isn't anything to do. Interestingly enough, I feel like one of the misconceptions that we have when we feel lost is that we don't really know where to go or what to do. On the contrary, I actually believe that we have everything to do and anywhere that we can go, but it's a matter of making that decision. When I finally get to the point where I just do not know where to go, do not know what decisions to make, do not know who to even ask for help, being humble allows me to take a step back from the situations that I'm currently in to really evaluate what's important to me, to really evaluate what's important to other people. And I do firmly believe that it's important to take into consideration what other people are saying, because frankly for me, as much as I would like to think that I know exactly what I'm doing with my life, others also who I've been interacting with know just as well what could very well be a good idea if I simply give them an ear. Feeling like you don't know where you're going and feeling lost, it's a normal human experience. We get to decide what we're going to do about it. Are we just going to find ourselves dropping, quitting, crying, calling, I don't know, ranting maybe? And I think there is a time and place for us to rant, to cry, to complain, and all of that is human. All of that is perfectly fine. I have no problems with that whatsoever, because I tend to in my own unique ways too. But life has taught me that far more than us simply complaining about things being as they are, oftentimes, I've noticed that miracles do tend to happen when we find ourselves taking the strides, making the effort to change the current status quo, into something a little bit more favorable to our liking. And when that happens, oftentimes it's because we are asking questions. It's because we're humble. It's because we are doing something to make those changes happen ourselves. I am a firm believer that just because we don't know where we're going, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be going somewhere worthwhile. You matter. You are important. You very much did not just get to where you are in your life just because of pure coincidence. And I am a firm believer that even if we find ourselves lost in our 20s, in our 30s, or 40s, even at the very end of our lives, for however long we have been lost, there are ways, there are options, there are decisions that we can make that will allow us to feel like we can find a purpose in life. People tell stories for a reason. This YouTube video is a story in and of itself, sharing with you a perspective that I have on how to find myself, how to find ourselves even, from avoiding or overcoming the feeling of not loneliness, a feeling of being lost. That was a topic for another time. What you feel, other people feel too. But because other people feel it too, they are all doing something about it differently. And I think it is to our advantage that we ask them how they're doing it, whether we ask them where we're different. Feeling lost in life is perfectly fine. Not knowing where to go is perfectly fine. Taking a step back to evaluate how you got into where you are and to ask for help by being honest with yourself, by being transparent with yourself, things that I've shared in another video, and sharing your story with other people and having other people tell you their stories by asking them how they got there. will teach you of ways that you can overcome that feeling of loneliness, will teach you how you can progress differently than you have thought so far. Life is worth living. You are worth listening to. Hearing you, interacting with you is a joy of mine, and it's a joy of other people's as well. I have met them, I know them. And I don't want you to think that just because you're lost, that you're inferior to anybody. You're just human. You are doing great and marvelous things. And I think you should know that you are doing a lot better than you think. Thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time. Thank you so much for allowing me to make another message, something that even helps me to kind of process and reflect upon the things that are going on in my life as well. It's been getting easier to make these YouTube videos because I start to feel like I'm not talking to just a camera, but I'm talking to you. And you are what make me feel comfortable talking to the camera. So, with that being all I have to share, you're amazing. You're incredible. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if there are any topics whatsoever that you would like me to just kind of share a little perspective on, I would love to hear them down in the comments below. You are great. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all, hopefully, in the next one. Bye, friends.